What's going on, everyone? Mr. Octagonal here. Now today we are back with the MLB The Show 19 rebuild, and we're going to be rebuilding the Kansas City Royals today. Now these rosters do include the latest draft picks, like Adley Rutschman is now on the Baltimore Orioles, for example. And I wanted to do the team who had the highest pick, who we have not rebuilt yet, which is the Royals. They had the second overall pick and drafted Bobby Witt Jr. So that's sort of why we chose them, and the Royals did have a vote. Shout out to Garrett for that. So looking at this team, it is a total mess. The rotation is not great. Brad Keller is only 23. He's a guy we can build around. But outside of that, there's really not much in this rotation. Brady Senior, Daniel Lynch, not bad prospects. Bullpen, there's no one we can build around. And then the closer position, same thing. Catcher, Salvador Perez, not quite the same player he once was. He's still a decent guy. Ryan O'Hearn, 25, not too bad. Same with second base. Nicky Lopez is only 24 years old. Hunter Dozier at third base, he's had a really nice season. He's only a 77, though. Shortstop, Adalberto Mondesi, only 23. Probably a guy who we want to build around. And then Bobby Witt, 18 with a potential. That's pretty sexy. Alex Gordon, yuck. But Brett Phillips is young. Billy Hamilton, yuck. And then Whit Merrifield, he's a base hit machine, but he's also 30. We may look to trade him. And then Jorge Soler, 74 overall, not too bad. So I kind of wanted to get Adley Rutschman, so we're going to trade Jake Junis. He's a solid pitcher, along with Billy Hamilton and a prospect to get him. So that means we don't need Salvador Perez anymore. Him, Eloy Jimenez, and Jesse Hahn are headed to the White Sox for Eloy Jimenez. I trade for Eloy a lot. I think he's a really solid player to get. And then Ryan O'Hearn, Eric, I cannot say that last name, and Nicky Lopez are headed to the Pirates for Josh Bell, who's having an incredible year this year. I don't know how he's only an 81. And that clears out the first base position for a while. And then Alex Gordon, I just needed to trade his salary away. We're getting Juan Nicasio from the Phillies. He could have good value maybe at the trade deadline. And then Danny Duffy, same thing. We need to trade his contract, so we're going to get Michael Pineda and a relief pitcher from the Minnesota Twins. So looking at the lineup, those top five guys aren't too bad. Adalberto Mondesi, Brett Phillips, Josh Bell, Hunter Dozier, Eloy Jimenez, guys who we can certainly build around in the rotation. Brad Keller, and that's about it. There's Richard Lovelady. But other than that, this pitching group is a mess. So looking at our draft, we have the second overall pick. We got Brandon Jarrell, 21 years old, 94 potential. That's not a bad selection. And then there are a few other guys who are decent. So looking at Juan Nicasio, he's been awful. 10 saves. He has 9 blown saves, 8.5 ERA. So he's headed to the Rockies along with Kelvin Gutierrez for Antonio Senzatella, talented young starting pitcher. And then 2 really good young starting pitchers along with Nick Pratto. We'll get us Wander Franco from the Rays, only 18 years old. He's an absolute beast. So we win 58 games. Obviously, not good enough to make the playoffs. We expect it to be flat out awful. And that's exactly what we were. Looking at the stats, Adalberto Mondesi was Brett Phillips was not too good. Josh Bell was decent. Eloy was actually pretty good. Hunter Dozier was not. Jorge Soler actually had a good year. His potential went up to an A. And then looking at the rotation, Senzatella and Keller, not too bad. Other than that, not too pretty. This bullpen is flat out awful. We definitely have to make some changes there. So the Red Sox end up beating the Chicago Cubs in the World Series. Red Sox win their second straight. So looking at the free agency class, it's the usual suspects. Obviously, we're going to do what we normally do, sign all the top guys and trade them. So Madison Bumgarner accepts his contract. I know Royals fans love him. Josh Donaldson accepts his deal. Marcelo Zuna is now a Kansas City Royal. And then we made a few other moves, I'm pretty sure. But before we show those, Madison Bumgarner, Hunter Dozier, and Brett Phillips will get his Alex Bregman from the Houston Astros. Dozier and Phillips really did not play too well last year, so I think that's a nice trade for us, getting us a superstar third baseman. And then Garrett Cole, Josh Donaldson, and Andres Machado will get his Ozzie Albies from the Atlanta Braves. I usually get Acuna a lot more often, and I could have gotten Acuna, but I get Ozzie Albies a lot less, so I wanted to get him. Next up, Marcelo Zuna is being traded to the Rockies for Ryan Rollison and Charlie Blackmon. I wanted to get a really talented prospect, and then Blackmon will probably just use his trade bait. here we go. He's trading him now, along with Jose Abreu, who I just signed. We'll get us Cole Winn, a 19-year-old, a potential pitching prospect from the Texas Rangers. Mike Moustakas I just signed, along with Jake Diekman. We'll get us Keone Kela from the Pittsburgh Pirates. Really good bullpen arm, which is obviously what we need. And then of a Rule 5 draft, in the Cardinals rebuild, we drafted Willie Calhoun and traded him basically for Brendan Rodgers, who's one of the best prospects in baseball. So I figured I'd do it again. Round 2, we got Hunter Harvey from the Baltimore Orioles, as Hunter Harvey, Willie Calhoun, and Brady Singer are going to get us Juan Soto from the Nationals. So basically an 8 potential pitching prospect for Juan Soto. That sounds like a pretty darn good deal. And then Lucas Sims, who I also drafted along with Glenn Sparkman and Jorge Bonifacio, will get us Michael Kopech from the Chicago White Sox. I know he has 99 potential. And then I kind of didn't want to trade out of Beltran Mondesi. I wanted to build around him, but I knew this was too good to pass up. We're trading him and a few other guys for Noah Syndergaard. We have Bobby Witt, we have Wander Franco, so Adalberto Mondesi is expendable, and we got ourselves a legit ace in Noah Syndergaard. Looking at the lineup, it's a lot better. Still some holes, but we have some big additions of Ozzy Albies, Juan Soto, Alex Bregman, and then the rotation, we added Noah Syndergaard and Michael Kopech, and then the bullpen, we added Keone Kela, so definitely a lot of big moves. This team is not quite a championship contender, but they're not too bad. So looking at the roster, Steve Anaya in the first round, not too bad. So we win 95 games, which is actually really good. Didn't think we'd do that well, but I'd say this is a playoff talented team. And look at this. We probably won like 20 games in a row to end the season. Can someone tally that up in the comments? Because that's just flat out nuts. And then looking at the stats, Josh Bell with a really nice year. Solaire's really done well in this rebuild. Everyone else doing well too. Noah Syndergaard, dominant. Brad Keller, pretty good. Michael Kopech, Senzatella, Michael Pineda, not awful. And then the bullpen, there's only 5 guys in there because I didn't feel like renewing all like the 50 overall minor leaguers. I was just feeling lazy today. So in the playoffs, taking on the Astros, we lose game 1. Noah Syndergaard doesn't make it through the first inning. Then we win the next 2, but then we end up choking a 2-1 lead. The Astros beat us, and that is how our first playoff run ends, as the Dodgers beat the Yankees in the World Series, as Los Angeles finally gets over the hump. So looking at the free agency for Season 2, once again the usual suspects, Mookie Betts, and a bunch of relievers, which is definitely what this team needs. All we really got is Keone Kela. Trevor Bauer is also an intriguing name. So the first move we make is Brad Hand from the Cleveland Indians. We also get Kirby Yates from the Padres, 2 older guys, but they're both really good. We signed Mookie Betts to a $300 million contract, as usual, because he's so easy to get. So I get Mookie Betts so often, so I figured, why not trade him? So him and Phil Meyer, I was considering 2 trades, one from the Phillies, one from the Pirates. I'm going to go with the Phillies one, getting Aaron Nola and some other guys, and then Nick Williams, who was part of that deal, along with Maybers Valora, and someone else will get us Carter Kieboom. I think he could be really good trade bait. And here we go, Carter Kieboom, Michael Kopech, and a right field prospect for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Kopech is solid, but I think he's replaceable. And then it's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He's insane in this game. And then we need a new starting pitcher, so Brandon Jarrell, our first-round pick, Cole Winn, and Jonathan Villar, who I signed in free agency, will get his Jamison Taillon from the Pirates. I also signed Julio Teheran. We're going to trade him, a catcher, and Antonio Senzatella for Joe Musgrove, another starting pitcher from the Pirates. So the lineup isn't too different. We did add Vladimir Guerrero Jr. We're also calling up Adley Rutschman and Bobby Witt Jr., so those 2 are now part of the lineup. And then the rotation is very different. It is stacked now. We still got Syndergaard and Keller, but we've also added Jamison Taillon, Aaron Nola, and Joe Musgrove. And then the bullpen, we've added Sir Anthony Dominguez, Kirby Yates, Brad Hand. This is a really, really good team, and we end up winning 108 games, which is 2/3 of the season, which for baseball terms is a lot. Ozzy Albies was good. Alex Bregman dominated. Vladimir Guerrero, I think, won MVP for good reason. Juan Soto had a really good year. Josh Bell, 41 dingers. Jorge Soler had a nice year. Eloy, Rutschman, not great. Bobby Witt Jr., he picked it up towards the end of the year. Then the rotation, Syndergaard was a little bit underwhelming, but Jamison Taillon, Joe Musgrove, they both were really good from the Pirates. And then the bullpen wasn't too bad. Newberry had a really good season for us, and then Brathand did well as the closer. So, taking on the Rays, we lose Game 1, another bad Game 1 performance from Syndergaard, but we shut him out Game 2. We easily win in Game 3, and then we win in Game 4, taking on the Houston Astros in the ALCS. Gotta get revenge on them, but we lose the first 2 games. Then we lose the third, and then we end up getting swept by the Houston Astros, which is very unfortunate. The Astros ended up beating the San Diego Padres in the World Series. So now on to the offseason. Season 3 free agency is always stacked, and that's no exception, as we don't have too much money, and we don't really have too many needs, but we could use 1 or 2 more guys. So we end up signing Corey Seager, who I never really get too often. Figured he would be a good pickup. And then Roberto Osuna, got ourselves another bullpen arm coming over from the defending champion Astros. And then towards the end of free agency, we needed a long reliever, so I figured why not go ahead and get Max Scherzer. So, I wanted to keep Jorge Soler because he's been here the whole time, but this was too good of a deal to pass up. Him and Wander Franco would get his Jose Ramirez. He is the missing piece to the lineup, and this lineup is absolutely just stacked as easily the best in baseball. And then the rotation, Max Scherzer now in there. So since I didn't sign those 50 overall guys I mentioned earlier, we did not have enough players on the minor league teams. We did not have enough money to sign free agents. So guys like Max Scherzer played the whole season in AAA, which is sort of weird, but it didn't really matter as we ended up winning 113 games. No Scherzer, no problem. Everyone ate for us. Ozzie Albies had a great year. Corey Seager played well. Vlad Jr. was great again. Juan Soto was incredible. Bregman was incredible. Jose Ramirez played well. Josh Bell was great. Eloy was pretty good. Adley Rutschman wasn't too bad. And then for rotation, wasn't as good. Disappointing season from Aaron Nola. Brad Keller's ERA was in the 5s. And then the bullpen, Keon Keller had a great season. And other than that, no one was outstanding, but no one played bad. So in the first round, we are going to be playing the Houston Astros. 3rd season in a row. Hopefully 3rd time is the charm and we can win the series. And we end up sweeping them. And then we would end up taking on the Oakland A's in the divisional round, or conference final, as we beat our former player, Jake Junis. Now series is 3-1. Can we close it out in Oakland? Yes, we do. Taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers in the World Series. Game 1, we win. Game 2 against Clayton Kershaw, we lose. And then Game 3, we lose. So it starts to get a little bit scary. But after that, we wouldn't look back. Winning 2 in LA, and then finishing it off in Game 6, as we do win the World Series in 4 seasons. That is going to end the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Here's one final look at the roster. 599 overall players: Bregman, Soto, Albies, Guerrero, and Syndergaard. I always say this, but my team at the end of this rebuild is stacked. Nothing new. MLB The Show rebuilding is so easy. So, hope you guys enjoyed, and expect a Game 7 Kings vs. Rockets premiere tonight.